So the four modes of speech, maybe I first explain it in a short way, but we have already discussed this before. How speech develops. And so speech starts actually with what they call para, which is a subconscious feeling. There's no words yet. It's just we could say a gut feeling. It's coming from the subconscious. And then the second phase is that this gut feeling translates into a concept, like a word, or maybe a combination of 1 or 2, 3 words that creates a concept. Then the third phase is that we start actually thinking around this concept and making, let's say, a story. Rehearsing then the fourth phase, where we're actually speaking this thought out and others can also hear it. So these are the four modes of speech which are very important to understand ourselves. And it is there also important to understand that it also works backwards in a way, in the sense that whatever then comes out of our mouth or whatever happens in our thoughts will again also affect the subconscious. The subconscious will, let's say, hear it and again produce a new feeling, which again affects our thoughts, brings a new concept, a new idea into the story, which then again is, worked upon through rational thinking, through association, and many of the other ways in which our mind works. So then the question actually in relation to mantra meditation is that where then does the mantra happen? No? And so the first thing to say is that if a mantra is spoken out loud, okay, it can affect others. But if we want to affect ourselves, then better to do it silently. Because that which we want to affect with the mantra is the subconscious. It has nothing to do with the conscious thinking. We can sometimes also think about the meaning of a mantra, but that is not the essence of mantra meditation. That is thinking. Meditation is not thinking. So in mantra meditation, we don't think about it, we recite it. That means it comes on the phase number 2. So it is not, of course, para, meaning a pure wordless feeling. No, it has words. It has very particular sounds. But since it is not something we are reasoning about, it is something which is just there as a concept would be there. It is coming in the second phase, very close to this para, this subconscious feeling. And that's also where we want it to be, so that the energy of it can affect the subconscious. And what then happens is that if our subconscious, our soul, starts to really resonate with that energy, then the para feeling that comes out of the subconscious will become more and more equal to the energy of the mantra as we perceive it in our conscious mind. And that is the kind of loop that we want to create. So that we are reciting in our mind the mantra, and the feeling that we have along with it, and not just the superficial feeling, but the feeling that comes from deep inside, totally resonates with it. Is, you could say, identical to it. So in the question there was some confusion about why it is said that this para is the most important, while this para is wordless and thus cannot be the recitation of the mantra itself. So that is now, I think, quite clear. Yes, para is the most important. To bring the energy, the feeling of the mantra to the subconscious, so that itself starts resonating that feeling, that essential energy of the mantra, that is the most important. But that is not something you can consciously do, because it's subconscious. So consciously we can only recite the mantra without thinking about it, or preferably also not about anything else, so that our soul starts resonating with it. Because that is what will bring the change. That is what will change the subconscious. That is which will unblock, let's say, certain fears if we work with Kali mantra, or remove certain irritations, some sensitivity, some anger, if we work with the Bhairav mantra or some other mantras.